Hello, my friends. Welcome to Soulful English. Today we will step into one of the most unbelievable stories you will ever hear. He was not born rich. He did not own a company. He was just a poor boy, hungry and barefoot, walking on dusty Korean roads. Can you imagine this? A boy with no shoes, no food, and no chance. But inside, his heart burned a dream brighter than fire. This boy's name was Lee Byung-chul. He was the one who would one day build Samsung, a company known across the world. But before Samsung, before the success, there was only a boy, a village, and a hunger that never left his body. Close your eyes for a moment. Can you hear the sound of old Korea? The chickens in the yard, the wind on the rice fields, the cries of poor children. It was the early 1900s. A time of war, poverty, and fear. Korea was struggling, and most families could barely survive. Lee's family was once rich, but everything was lost. Imagine waking up and realizing your future is gone, and your name means nothing. Do you know the English phrase, rock bottom? It means the lowest point in life. That was where he began. Repeat after me. Bombed, rock bottom. When you start at rock bottom, you have two choices. Stay there forever, or climb. What would you do if it were you? Little Lee was weak in body, but strong in spirit. He loved books. In a world of hunger, books became his food. He read by candlelight, eyes burning, stomach empty. Have you ever tried to study while hungry? It is pain and hope mixed together. He dreamed of studying abroad, of learning English, Japanese, and business. He believed knowledge was the key to freedom, but life was cruel. His father died when Lee was young. The family's land disappeared. His dream felt impossible. Still, he held on to one English phrase he once read. Where there is a will, there is a way. Repeat it slowly with me. Where there is a will, there is way. This phrase became his prayer, his secret weapon. At night, when others slept, Lee whispered this phrase like a soldier holding his sword. It gave him strength to rise again. But dreams alone cannot fill an empty stomach. He needed money and fast. So he walked, traded, begged, and learned. He sold rice, dried fish, and vegetables. He carried heavy bags through mud. He learned how to buy cheap, sell smart, and survive, step by step. He became different from other boys. They complained, he listened, they gave up. He tried again, and every mistake taught him one English lesson. Failure is not the end. Say it with me. Failure is not the end. Do you believe this? When you fail, you can stop, or you can stand again. Which one is your choice? As a teenager, Lee made one bold decision. He would not stay poor. He would build something so big, the world would remember his name. But how? He had no capital, no partners, no guidance, only hunger, pain, and one burning dream. Here is the secret. Sometimes hunger can be a gift. It pushes you to fight harder than anyone else. One rainy morning, Lee looked at the sky and made a promise. He would build a company, starting from nothing. That moment was the seed, a small seed in poor soil. But seeds, if cared for, can grow into giant trees. Samsung, the company you know today, started from that tiny seed. But the journey was full of storms. Are you ready to walk with him? To feel every failure, every fear, and every small victory on the way? Because this is not just his story, it is your story too. If a poor boy could build Samsung, what can you build? The year was 1938. Lee was 28 years old. He had nothing in his pockets. But inside, his chest was afire. He borrowed a small amount of money, just $25. Can you believe this? The empire of Samsung began with only $25. He rented a tiny house in Daegu, not an office, not a store, just a small house with a broken roof and wooden floor. In that house, he opened a trading company. He called it Samsung Sangho. The name Samsung means 3 stars. Do you know why? Stars shine even in the darkest night. He wanted his company to shine like that. Repeat after me, shine bright in the dark. What did he sell? Simple things. Dried fish, noodles, vegetables, nothing fancy. But he sold with passion, with speed, with trust. He worked day and night. Imagine the scene. Oil lamp burning, papers on the floor. Lee writing orders with tired hands, but never stopping. His friends laughed at him. Why waste time? Why dream so big? But he answered, because I believe in tomorrow. English phrase for today. Believe in tomorrow. Say it slowly. Believe in tomorrow. This phrase can change your life too. Business was hard. Customers were poor. Trucks were few. Roads were broken. Every day felt like a fight. One day, thieves stole his goods. Another day, a storm destroyed his supplies. Have you ever felt like the world is against you? What would you do? Quit? Cry or try again? Remember, life always asks this question. Your answer shapes your future. Lee chose to fight. He worked harder. He rebuilt what was broken. He promised himself, I will never stop. Not now. And slowly, something magical happened. People began to trust him. They said, this man keeps his word. He is different. Trust is gold in business. Say it with me. Trust is gold. If people trust you, they will follow you anywhere, soon. Lee's tiny company grew. More customers, more orders, more respect. The boy with no shoes was becoming a real businessman. But then came the twist. War broke out. The country was on fire. Fear returned. Business collapsed overnight. Imagine everything you built turning to dust. Your company gone, your future gone. What would you feel in that moment? Lee lost almost everything again. He was forced to leave, to run, to watch his dream burn. But inside, the fire did not die. This was the turning point. He could give up forever, or he could rebuild once more, stronger than before. Do you know the English phrase, never give up? It sounds simple, but for Lee, it was life itself. Repeat it with me. Never give up. Louder now. Never give up. This is the heartbeat of success, the fuel of impossible journeys. Lee looked at the ruins of his company and said, I will start again. I will not die with my dream, and from the ashes of loss. He began to imagine something new, not only trading, not only noodles or fish, something bigger. This moment is important. When life breaks you, it also gives you a choice. You can stay broken, or you can transform, just like the English idiom, a blessing in disguise. Do you know it? Repeat, a blessing in disguise. The war looked like a curse, but hidden inside was a blessing. It pushed Lee to think bigger than ever before. What about you when something bad happens? Do you see only pain? Or do you search for the hidden blessing? Lee decided he would not only rebuild, he would reinvent. He would create a company that touched every corner of life. That idea became the seed of the Samsung you know today. Phones, TVs, ships, buildings. But at that time, it was only a dream. Dreams are fragile. They live or die inside your choices. And Lee made the choice to keep dreaming, no matter the cost. So the story continues. A poor boy. One dream, endless storms, yet still walking forward, step by step, against the impossible. After the war, Korea was broken, cities in ruins, people hungry, hope almost gone. But Lee looked at this broken land and saw opportunity. He thought, if my people need food, I will bring food. If they need clothes, I will bring clothes. If they need hope, I will bring hope. He restarted Samsung with simple products. sugar, flour, clothes, everyday things, but needed by everyone. This was smart. Do you know the English word necessities? Necessities means basic needs. Repeat with me, necessities. When you provide necessities, people trust you because you help them survive. The company grew from one small office to warehouses to factories. Lee was no longer just a trader. He was becoming an industrial leader. Imagine the sound, machines turning, workers shouting, trucks rolling, children smiling with bread in their hands. That was Samsung in its early days. Lee had a vision, he said. Korea must stand again. To stand, we need strong companies. Do you agree with that? So he built more. Not just food, he moved into textiles, building mills, creating jobs, lifting people out of poverty. This was not easy. He had no guidebook, no safety, only the fire in his chest and the phrase, step by step. Repeat with me, step by step, simple English words. But deep truth, you don't climb a mountain in one jump, step by step. Have you ever faced a mountain in your life? Something so big it felt impossible? How did you take the first step? Lee's mountain was poverty, chaos, and competition. But he climbed slowly, and each step made Samsung stronger. Soon, Samsung became one of Korea's most respected companies. People said, "This is not just a business. This is a lifeline." But success creates enemies. Rivals grew jealous. Politicians questioned him. And foreign companies looked down on Korean business. Can you imagine being told, "You are too small. You cannot compete"? What would you do? Walk away or fight harder? Lee chose to fight, he said. "We will not only compete, we will win." That was bold, almost crazy. English idiom for this moment. Against all odds. Repeat after me. Against all odds. It means winning when everything is against you. Against all odds. Samsung survived. Against all odds. Samsung grew. And against all odds. Lee's dream did not die. The 1960s came. A new Korea was rising from war. Roads, schools, factories, and in the center, Samsung rising with it. Lee invested in more industries, insurance, retail, construction. He believed in one rule, diversify. Do you know this English word? Diversify means spread out, not depend on one thing. Repeat, diversify. That word became Samsung's secret strategy. If one industry failed, another would survive. If one product broke, another would shine. Step by step. Industry by industry. Samsung spread, but Lee was not satisfied. He looked at the world and thought, Korea must produce technology, not just follow, but lead. This was the boldest dream of all. At that time, Korea had little technology. Radios and TVs came from abroad. People laughed again. How can a poor nation make electronics? Impossible. But impossible was Lee's favorite word to challenge. English phrase for you. Make the impossible possible. Repeat it. Make the impossible possible. This is the true spirit of visionaries. Lee invested in electronics. He built factories for televisions, refrigerators, and radios. The first steps of Samsung Electronics. Imagine workers in white uniforms, soldering wires, assembling parts, eyes tired but proud. For them, this was not just work, it was history. Samsung's first black and white TVs appeared in Korean homes. Families gathered around, amazed. A poor boy's dream was now lighting up living rooms. But Lee was still restless. He wanted more. He wanted to compete not only in Korea, but in the world. This dream was dangerous, competing with Japan, America, Europe, giants of technology. It looked impossible again. But Lee whispered, "Never give up." He taught his workers one English phrase, quality first. Repeat with me, quality first. Without quality, there is no respect, no survival. Day after day, he pushed his people. Do better, do more, don't copy, create. He was tough, sometimes cruel, but always focused. Some workers hated him, others admired him, but all knew, this man will not rest until Samsung shines across the world. And slowly, it began. Small exports, first contracts, first foreign customers. The world started to notice a name, Samsung. But every rise has risks. Mistakes came, products failed, machines broke, foreign partners complained, and critics shouted, Samsung is not ready. No. Can you imagine the pressure? To carry not only a company, but the pride of a whole nation? Lee often stayed awake at night, walking in his office, whispering the words that saved him as a boy. Where there is a will, there is a way. Rock bottom, never give up. Step by step. Quality first. These words were not just English phrases. They were his survival weapons, his compass through the storms. And here's the truth. You can use them too. These words are not only history, they are keys for your future. So remember, every great company begins with one small step. Every great life begins with one strong decision. And Lee's decision was simple. I will not quit. I will rise. And he did. The 1970s arrived. The world was changing fast. Technology was exploding. Japan was rising. America was powerful. Europe was strong. Korea was still small. Lee looked at this world map and whispered, Samsung must enter. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. His dream was no longer national. It was global. He began sending teams abroad, young men with simple suits, broken English, and burning hearts. They knocked on doors in Tokyo, New York, and Berlin. Many doors closed. Some laughed. Samsung? What is that? Too small. Too weak. Can you imagine hearing rejection again and again? But rejection is not the end. English phrase, try again. Repeat, try again. Every no became fuel for the next yes. One day, a breakthrough came. A small deal with an American company. Just a few products. Not much money. But it was the beginning. From that moment, Samsung became a global player. Not respected yet. Not powerful yet. But present. Do you know the phrase, make your mark? Make your mark means show your presence. Repeat, make your mark. And Samsung had finally made its mark on the world stage. But bigger challenges came. Foreign companies pushed back. Products failed quality tests. Customers returned shipments. Newspapers wrote, Samsung is a weak imitator. Lee was furious. He shouted in meetings, we cannot be cheap. We cannot be weak. We must be the best. He introduced a strict rule, quality above all. Workers destroyed defective products with hammers. Factories cried. But Lee said, better broken here than shamed abroad. English idiom, hit the nail on the head. It means solving the real problem. Lee hit the nail on the head with quality, step by step. Samsung improved. Radios that lasted longer. TVs that looked brighter. Refrigerators that worked better. Slowly, respect grew. But then came another storm. The 1980s. Technology war exploded. Computers, chips, semiconductors. The future was being written in silicon. Lee faced a terrifying truth. If Samsung missed semiconductors, it would die if it joined. It risked everything. What would you choose? Most businessmen avoided the risk. Too expensive, too dangerous, too unknown. But Lee was different. He whispered again. Against all odds, he invested billions into semiconductors. Critics said he was insane. A poor country building chips? Impossible. But he smiled. Impossible is not forever. English phrase for this. Nothing is impossible. Repeat, nothing is impossible. This phrase carried Samsung into the future. Factories rose. Engineers worked day and night. Failures came. Machines broke. Designs collapsed. Money burned like paper in fire. But one day, success came. A working chip. A real semiconductor. Korea had entered the technology race. The world was shocked. This was the climax of Lee's life. The poor boy who sold noodles now held the future of information in his hands. Imagine his feeling. Pride mixed with exhaustion. Tears in his eyes. His people cheering. History had changed forever. Samsung was no longer a follower. It was a leader. And from that point, the road to global giant was open. But Lee's health was fading. Years of stress, endless work, and sleepless nights had taken their toll. Still, he whispered to his children and his workers, "Do not stop. Push harder. Build bigger. Dream wilder." English idiom. Pass the torch. It means give responsibility to the next generation. Repeat with me, pass the torch. Lee passed the torch to his successors, and they carried Samsung into phones, screens, and the digital world. But never forget, it all began with a barefoot boy, hungry, whispering English words in the dark. Where there is a will, there is a way. If he had given up, no Samsung. If he had stopped, no future. But because he fought, the world was changed. Now ask yourself, what is your Samsung? Your dream, your mountain, your impossible. And are you ready to climb? The story of Lee is not only about business, it is about survival, courage, and the human will to fight the impossible. Let us pause and take the lessons, because his journey is not far from yours. His words can guide your English learning too. Lesson 1. Rock bottom is not the end. It is the beginning. Remember when he lost everything? He used failure as fuel. English phrase, rock bottom. Repeat with me, rock bottom. When you feel empty, that can be the first step to greatness. Lesson 2. Where there is a will, there is a way. Lee repeated this again and again. It was his secret prayer. Say it slowly. Where there is a will, there is a way. Do you believe it? If yes, say it louder. Lesson 3. Failure is not the end. Every storm destroyed his work, but every time he rebuilt. That is why Samsung exists today. Repeat this phrase. Failure is not the end. Can you feel its power? Imagine saying this every morning when you wake up. Lesson 4. Step by step. He never climbed too fast. He knew big goals are reached by small steps. This is also true for English. Repeat. Step by step. If you learn 5 words a day, after 1 year, you have 1,800 words. Small steps. Big change. Lesson 5. Quality first. Lee demanded it. He broke products to protect his company's name. What about you? Do you put quality first? Repeat. Quality first. In English. Quality means you don't just memorize words. Verity. You practice speaking clearly, using them in real life. Lesson 6. Nothing is impossible. People laughed at Lee. They said he was crazy. But he built semiconductors, the heart of modern life. Say it with me, nothing is impossible. If a poor boy can build Samsung, you can build your dream, step by step. Now, close your eyes. Imagine your dream. Maybe speak English fluently. Maybe start a business. Maybe change your life. See it clearly. Ask yourself, what would Lee do if he were you? Quit? Or whisper those powerful words and try again tomorrow? This is the secret. He was not special. He was hungry, broken, scared, but he refused to surrender. That made him different. And you? Will you surrender to difficulty, or will you fight? Even when people laugh, even when the road feels impossible. English idiom, keep the fire alive. Repeat after me, keep the fire alive, them. That fire is your passion, your will, your dream. Lee kept his fire alive through storms, wars, losses, and in the end, the fire lit up the world with Samsung. Now it is your turn. Your Samsung is waiting. It may not be a company. It may be a skill, a goal, a life. What matters is not where you start, but how you climb. Poor or rich, weak or strong, your decision writes your future. So remember the 6 lessons. Rock bottom, will and way. Failure not the end. Step by step. Quality first. Nothing impossible. Each phrase is easy English, but behind each phrase is a mountain of meaning. Say them, live them, let them guide you. Because this story is not just history, it is prophecy for your life. A reminder that greatness grows from broken soil. So now, my friends, you have walked with Lee Byung-chul, the poor boy who built Samsung. From hunger to hope, from ashes to stars, his story shows one truth. Your beginning does not decide your ending. Your will, your fight, your heart, that is what shapes your future. Remember the contrast. From barefoot to boardroom, from dried fish to semiconductors, from forgotten child to global legend. Contrast is the power of his life, and contrast can be yours too. From shy learner to confident speaker, from broken English to fluent conversation, from doubt to destiny. So tell me, what is your dream? Say it out loud, whisper it if you must, but give it life. Then, take the first step, step by step, day by day. 5 words today, 10 sentences tomorrow, 1 conversation next week. Do not stop, even when tired, even when others laugh, even when you fall. Remember the phrase, never give up. Repeat it with me, never give up. Say it louder, never give up. Shout it if you must. Let the world hear you, because your story is not finished, like Lee. Your life can be a movie, a drama, a lesson, a miracle. And English? It is not just language. It is your bridge to new worlds, your key to freedom, your tool to build your dream. So my final gift to you, 6 phrases to carry forever. Rock bottom, will and way. Failure not the end. Step by step. Quality first. Nothing impossible. Say them once more. Rock bottom, will and way. Failure not the end. Step by step. Quality first. Nothing impossible. Now, keep them in your heart. Write them on paper. Whisper them when afraid. Live them when the world says no. Because like Lee, you too can rise against all odds. You too can keep the fire alive. You too can build your own Samsung. So thank you for walking this journey with me. If this story touched your heart, do not let it end here. Like this video, share it with your friends, and comment your dream below. Tell the world what you are building, and subscribe to this channel, Soulful English, for more stories that teach you English and inspire your life at the same time. Together, we will rise. Together, we will learn. Together, we will make the impossible possible. Are you ready? Then let's begin today.